From the deep, dark reaches of Star Trek Online comes Nikodas, Tabbytha, and Grebog with another episode of Fleet Action Report.
Greetings, and welcome to Fleet Action Report, the show where we don't just play the game, but we teach you how to play the game.
That's Nikodas. I'm Tabbytha, and here is Grebog.
Computer run program. Fleet Action Report episode 225. Boo! Build on your Typhoon!
Oh, that was good.
It's really good.
That's what you get when you put, yeah. Well, greetings everybody, welcome. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for your support, being here or lurking, however it is. If you like to support us a little bit financially, you can subscribe here on Twitch. You could also go to Coffee if you don't want to give Twitch money, which is ko-fi.com/GREBOG. Every little bit is appreciated, and all proceeds go to Coffee for the hungry masses, or maybe if we
masses.
Yeah, the coffee deprived masses, or if enough people start, supporting us, we might buy ships and things that we can like share other stuff. But yeah, one day maybe
one day, one of these days,
if
we're lucky.
Days.
Well, Tabby, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
Oh, my week has been exhausting for a variety of reasons. The simplest of which has been school. I just finished up a couple of projects which were very exhausting, and I'm about to start another 2-week project in one of my art courses, so that's going to be fun. I'm doing a lot of tech-related stuff at home of varying degrees of complexity, which is eating up a lot of my time. And of course, playing STO. I haven't had a lot of STO, so I'm like kind of rushing to get this build that we put together actually set up, because I haven't been in game as much as I've wanted to, and I don't quite have the ship assembled. So I'm working on getting that done as we speak, but I should have it ready to go by the time we go to kill things. So we should be good there.
Some assembly required.
Some assembly required, yes. How about you, Grebog?
My week, I can't remember. I've been spending way too much time trying to get candy buckets and WoW, so I could buy a bunch of the new stuff and some of the old stuff I missed. And so I got all the new cosmetics done. I bought some of the old cosmetics and toys that I didn't have before. I'm only missing 2 old things, though I feel good about the fact that I was able to buy everything new and old except for 2. So I was partially like thinking, screw the rest of the candy bucket time frame. I know like today's the last day, but screw it. I'll get it next year. I think I'm candy bucketed out. Yeah. Though also I've been doing some of my weekly stuff so I can get my bronze to get the anniversary event items as well. I think I have purchased 5 of the tier sets that they put in. And yeah, I'm knocking that out too. Outside of that, I've been doing some STO, been tinkering with builds. I mastered some ships. I hit a new wall that because this character doesn't have as many ship slots as others, I kind of been having to shuffle things around to get all the ship mastering done that I needed to. And yeah, but I'm good. Nikodas, how have you been? What have you been up to?
My week has been interesting. I spent the weekend with some friends that I don't get to see a whole lot. Um, but that was interesting. We introduced them to Magic the Gathering and played a whole lot of Magic. Played a couple new board games. It was a busy but very fun weekend. It felt so rushed. Yes, I have friends. You happen to be one of them.
What?
So because we were over there, I did not have a whole lot of video game time. I did get on and do my daily, so I got my Beowulf sword and whatnot and Grudge, and I've been putting Grudge on all of my characters because it's Grudge. Um, I don't know. Really, it's been STO and like Spider-Man 2, which I've been playing a lot of because I wanted to go through the whole story. So I started with Spider-Man 1, did Miles Morales, and now I'm on to Spider-Man 2. But yeah, that's even that I haven't played as much as I would have liked because it was like go to see the friends, come home and go to work, and yesterday was work, and today I'm doing this. So I did get the build put together. We'll detail that here in a minute. It's probably not the best build ever, but it's not terrible. I did some practice runs with it. We determined not to use a torpedo on it, but we'll explain that here in a little bit. Today, Oh yeah, we can go to Soul. That's fine. I'm done. That's pretty much my week in a nutshell. This weekend STO. So from now until the 14th, we've got a bonus mark event going on. You gain 50% more marks from all content that rewards marks. That's a lot of marks.
Hey, hey, Grebog, maybe some of those extra marks could give you a break.
Maybe.
I
All
can't
right.
transwarp for 2 minutes.
Aha, or something. Boy, these
Ha ha
assimilators.
ha ha
Um,
ha.
so that they announced today, or maybe it was technically this morning. I don't know. It's something. But read alert, or I guess red
Read
alert. I put it in our notes. Read alert. Now until the 14th, you complete. Maybe it's only 4 dailies. Let me double check this. No, it's 5. I got it right. Wow, I didn't see it written, and so I just assumed 5 daily red alerts to earn 1 ultimate tech upgrade and 1 specialization point. Note: the Tzenkethi fail condition will be removed in a future run of this event, and your guess is as good as anyone's on which future or how far in the future.
Which future? I like that. Which future? In some future that's already happened.
I mean, it
Not
probably
this
already
one.
happened in another timeline.
There's another timeline where this game is moved on to Star Trek Online 2.
Electric Boogaloo?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Anyway, moving right along.
Anyway, moving right along. Typhoon second chance buyout feature. Yes, there is / was a feature with the second chance buyout where people were not getting the 25k dilithium. Devs are aware of the issue and are working to resolve the issue, even for the ones that have already done the buyout. I'd also like to point out that because we started the trend of just adding an extra O to our ship names for the Typhoon in honor of the Typhoon, since Tabby's flagship has always been the Kashima, I named my Typhoon the Kashuma.
Very nice.
Yeah, they didn't say when the bug was going to get resolved or whatnot, though there was maintenance today, but they didn't tell us what the maintenance did. So it may have been solved today, hence the was. I wasn't sure. They're being very vague again, and I'm not as happy about that. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on, I guess that's me, isn't it? So there's a bundle sell going on from now. Actually, it ends today. Ended today. Is it over already?
Oh,
Maybe I shouldn't
did
have
they
this on the notes.
No, it's still going, and it says it goes till it's to the 14th.
Oh, we need to change that then. Okay, so
There.
from now until the 14th, that's been changed. There's a 35% off on all bundles and expansion bundles sale going on. Oh yeah, sure enough, 35% off. So there you go, guys. Go buy those bundles. Get all the ships and things.
You can see all the ships I don't have. Oh wait, that's not a lot.
So our primary target, let me save my build here real quick. So our primary target today is talking about the Boo build. And yes, I named it a Boo build partially because the ship is the Typhoon and partially because we're on the tail end of Halloween. We're a week late for Halloween, but, you know, we started a week early. Now we're ending a week late. It works, sort of.
It's fine.
Because they have the Typhon class and the Typhoon class, we've been like playing with names and whatnot. So instead of a BO build, we made it a Boo build. And like Tabby just told you the name of her ship. Mine, I named the Monsoon because I don't have a Typhon on this character. And I was actually just looking at my other ship names to see if I could take one to alter, kind of like she did, which was really cool.
Mine's the Timur. It was when I went to name the ship. That was it only had one O in the name, and I'm like, I don't mind the name, and I'll just slap an extra O in there.
I know what I'll change it to. I just got to get the ESD real quick, and then we'll change it. So what we're going to do here, this was a collaborative build between the three of us. We also used our budget build guidelines to come up with it. So this is a completely budget-friendly beam overload build. I mean, you're not going to break any records with this, but it should be just fine for at least advanced content. Possibly even elites. I didn't run the numbers to see what type of DPS we're putting out, but you know, it could be okay. And Grebog is going to start us off with the equipment for the ship. So take it away, Grebog.
Throw everything out you ever learned before. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, as you can see, there's no torpedo, but we also opted by not without having torpedo. That means all traits, bridge officer powers could be focused on certain things. Honestly, there's not enough bridge officer slots really, or like for powers to have a like high yield or torpedo spread. So if we're not going to do that, we opted with no torpedo on the front.
Actually, if I can cut in for just a second, the original version of this build had a torpedo. We were going to run the advanced biotorp from the rep and then run it with high yield. But the only thing we could fit on the build was high yield 1. And when Tabby and I went out and did some testing with it, we weren't getting the great big boom with that biotorp that normally comes with high yield. So I wrote it off as you must use high yield 3 to get the giant AoE boom. So it wasn't worth it on the build.
Well, okay. I guess the context there, I was trying to get nothing of, I guess, value. Like it didn't stack up once you with the number of bridge officer ability slots, it didn't stack up to have a torpedo. So pick your weapon of flavor energy of choice. I am on disruptor, and so all minor disruptor. I do have on the front the wide angle dual heavy beam bank. That is partially to get the Lurker's Ambition set. The deflector is kind of the standard deflector, Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter deflector. Impulse, I went with the Romulan Advanced Prototype. It works really well. It has a lot of, like, it has some Starship weapon amplification built into it, which is, which improves crit severity with weapons. And beam overload, you love some crit severity. We have also the warp elite plasma integrated warp core. Now this, if you find that you are struggling to stay alive, you could swap in the mycelial warp core that goes with the Tilly's shield, which is a shield we're using. Though if you like this warp core, because what it does, part of what it does is it reduces your weapon power cost down, so that way your warp, when you're doing all your beam overloads, it's not draining your power to nothing. But yes, on the aft, after hearing a lot of people talk, we went with the omnidirectional Pavin proton beam array. While this seems like an odd choice on the aft, the reason being it has on it a 33% chance to +1 resonance charge the target, and then it does more proton damage that ignores shields, and it increases the damage it takes from future. Like, it does a lot of stuff that stacks, and it does so much damage compared to if you no set bonuses that you can get with another Omni can compare right now to the damage that just this proton beam array, like this, that Omni Pavin proton beam array does. Which means maybe in the future they'll nerf it. Hopefully not. Then we just have a standard Omni. Obviously I went with Disruptor because I'm Disruptor on the front. And then we put in a turret on the aft here, and that's partially because you can't put 3 Omnis. There is the option, if you like the kinetic cutting beam, you could put that here. I don't know how it would compare, but since we are going with a energy type, this will get out also boosted damage from the energy type boost that we do. So having a turret of your energy type isn't terrible. Just won't get the beam overload flavor. For devices, I obviously have the Kobayashi Maru, the red matter capacitor, subspace field modulator, temporal negotiator. These kind of are all your flavor of choice. There are a lot of people that like to go with some batteries in here, some special batteries, because some of those are a little complicated to get a hold of. I didn't opt for those. I just went with things I had. Now consoles, this is where things get interesting. We went with, if you upgrade your ship twice, you will be able to have 6 advanced engineering isomagnetic plasma distribution manifolds. Now, to be clear, because apparently there's some confusion, even though it's called an isomagnetic plasma distribution manifold, it's not the plasma energy type. It is just part of the name. Where you care is the bracket at the end after the mark 15, where it says disruptor. Now, be aware that is like spelled out disruptor versus just DIS is 2 different things. You need to make sure it says plus the disruptor damage down on the bottom. The DIS one is disruptor resistance and not the damage. So it can get confusing, and I've seen people sell for absurd amount of money the resistance ones because they know people are confused about the difference. All right, now for the regular consoles. Almost all these consoles are universal except for I think one. So we have here the Agony Redistributor, which gives you more flight speed and inertia rating while you. But the big thing is it's clicky. That does it basically helps you do a big reapplies a bunch of damage AOE, and helps you annihilate your enemy. Then we have the Tachyon Net Drones. It does have some critical chance, critical severity, and then increases your starship perception. But also another big, it's a clicky that has reduces damage resistance and also applies some kinetic damage and shields offline on critical hits to the people inside of the net it puts out. And then now this console is interesting. It's new. I guess here, but the Agony Redistributor. Okay, first the plasma, like the isomags, are all crafted. Those are elite crafted. As I'm trying to go quick without. Also, I guess we could share this so that way people can follow along, if they want to. Isomags are crafted. The Agony Redistributor comes from the Terran Adamant Intel Heavy Raider. The Tachyon Net Drones is from the Bozeman Intel Heavy Frigate. Now, the next one is the Subspace Fracture Tunnel Field. That one comes from the Vauban Obelisk Carrier, which is a recent event. It has a plus 30% hull regeneration, which is kind of nice because you don't have to do anything, and you just get hull regen. Now it has a clicky that will teleport you within. Well, you have to be 20 kilometers from your target before you can use it, and then it will teleport you within, I'd say 5 kilometers, I think it is, that it puts you. And then
facing your enemy.
And then you deal a crap ton of, you get some additional hit points and reduces recharge times on universal console abilities by 25%, which is huge. Now, something to note, let's say you are what you feel in a perfect position and you do not want to go anywhere. Deselect your targets, then use the clicky on this, and it will self-target you, and you go nowhere. And you just activate the power.
Oh, that's good to know.
So that is a trick I heard and learned, and it's very handy. It also can be used to get you closer and move you around. Now, the next one is the Fleet Power Network Array. It does give some aux power. It also helps with some exotic particle generator. However, it comes from the Awani Command Carrier. However, the coolness it comes from its clicky, and that is it gives you 50% to 125% directed energy weapon fire cycle haste that scales from auxiliary power. So you could stack your auxiliary power if you want even higher, but even still, it gets you some pretty insane fire cycle haste. And it does this for your ally pets and whatnot. So on teams, this can really help everyone do some amazing things. It does also have other things like 60% chance to apply beam overload cannon rapid fire 1 or torpedo high yield / salvo 1 for pets and allies. We have in here the M6 computer. This actually comes from a Temporal Escort, which it's a tier 3 ship, 75,000 dilithium. So not terrible to pick up. It takes you a little time to get the 75k, but it basically on use gives you 15% bonus all damage. It also gives you cooldown reduction of your tactical bridge officers and even more fire cycle haste for all weapons and accuracy and defense rating. It fits with this build pretty well. And the last one, here we have the Lorca's console to get you the 2-piece. This is just one. It has crit chance, weapon power setting, shield pen, and then with the set bonus, it gives you even more crit severity. On a crit, you get crit severity buff for 20 seconds, and it stacks up to 25 times. So you can get like crap tons of crit severity. I have here Domino, though. If you don't have Domino, a great one is the assimilated module, because it has crit chance and crit severity on it, and it gives you more weapon power setting and starship damage control, and it does have a little control expertise. If you're going to use the assimilated or the kinetic cutting beam, I would probably definitely use both of these together, because then you get an extra set bonus that can come in handy. That's, and the assimilated module comes from the Task Force Omega, and the Domino, though, unfortunately comes from the Bajoran Interceptor, which is in the Phoenix Prize Pack. You have to use an epic token to get it now, or if you were fortunate, you got it back when it was a past event ship.
There's actually a bunch of good consoles that work really well with Beam Overload. Domino, DPRM, Flagship Tactical Computer, Dragon's Blood Flame Reactor, Hall Image Reflectors, Temporal Disorder. There's more. Those are just the ones that I came up with when I was looking at it. Essentially, you want consoles that either increase the damage of the energy type that you're using, or increase either crit hit, crit severity, or weapon fire haste. And it just depends on what type of build you want to go with. Having a budget, or limiting ourselves to a budget, kind of limited what consoles we could use. But we're trying to be budget friendly for, newer people in the game or whatnot.
And I did skip over like where some of the other stuff, like Tilly's shield comes from the Discovery Rep. The Elite Fleet Plasma Integrated Warp Core comes from the Fleet Spire. The Romulan Advanced Prototype Engines comes from the Romulan Rep. And the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector Array comes from the Fleet Colony. I was trying to go fast so we can get this all covered in a reasonable time.
Grebog and I had to go make a purchase right before the show started too, to get our build all put together. But here's Tabby. Tabby came up with the list of bridge officer powers that we're using. So here's Tabby to explain her picks.
Hello there. Yep, we had to kind of approach this from a slightly different angle, just because the seating on this ship is kind of weird. Because it's only got one dedicated tactical station, and it's got a couple universal stations. So, what we went ahead and did was, let me get my thing pulled up and moved over here so I can. All right. So for our engine, so let's start with the engineering. So, because that's our big station, the command engineering, which is also a temporal. For the command spot, we put in recursive shearing 3. That recursive shearing is a temporal ability. It does considerable single target. It's a considerable single target damage amplification boost. It targets foe 10 kilometers away, and each second for 5 seconds. An amount of depleted. Well, it deals physical damage equal to 30% of the stored value of. Actually, wait, what does this do? Hang on.
Which one?
No, the recursive shielding. So it looks like it kind of like stores of it looks like it kind of like
it stores some of the damage you're doing to the enemy's hull, But then,
and then reapplies it. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, this is what I was looking for.
You're getting a
Sorry,
little tongue-tied
the
tonight.
explanation of some of these abilities is really kind of weird. Yeah, it stores some of the damage that you do and reapplies it, and it looks like it ramps it up. So like the damage that you do, 30% of that is reapplied every 5 seconds. Or each second.
Yeah,
and then
so
also has the nice habit of recovering some of the recharge time of all your bridge officer abilities too.
Yeah, let's see. Well, present, it'll store a portion of all incoming damage directed at foe. Upon expiration, all of that stored damage will be instant reapplied. Okay, yeah, that's not that difficult. I've, I'm just being me today. That's all. Then, of course, in the lieutenant commander spot, we have our classic emergency power to weapons 3. That's kind of a staple of any kind of weapons build, and it's gonna play off one of the traits that we have amplified by one of the traits we have later, which is the emergency weapons cycle. You're gonna find the emergency power to weapons 3 pretty much on any beam weapons beam build. We went ahead and opted for aux power to structural integrity. Because one thing that we've found with a lot of these builds is they tend to be a little on the squishy side, and since we don't have a lot of our usual like defensive ability, like a lot of our usual things that kind of keep us safe, I opted for some to go slightly different direction, because like we usually will go with something like the reverse shield polarity and stuff like that, but we're also like really light on engineering spots because we only have like one dedicated engineering station, and that we also need temporal abilities too. So went ahead and picked up the Oxta structural integrity field and causal reversion, which is another kind of a heal, and it plays off of the recursive shielding, because recursive shielding is an entropy builder, and causal reversion will consume some of those entropy points and heal you, give you some hull heals. All right, now for tactical abilities, your tactical station also is a command seat. So we went ahead and went with the beam overload 3, overwhelm emitters 2, and chemosite laced weaponry 1. To pick up some more tactical abilities, the Lieutenant Universal Station, we went ahead and put on tactical duty to get your attack pattern beta 1 and tactical team 1. And the Lieutenant Commander Science Station, this is where we're going a little bit like a little bit further to the side of where we usually go. We went first I'll tell you what we got, and then I'll tell you why. We went transfer shield strength 3, photonic officer 1, and then hazard emitters 1. Reason we went with photonic officer 1 was because when you have Boimlers, that tends to cover your bridge officer recharge times, especially with your other consoles and traits and whatnots. With the transferred shield strength, it gives you a transferred shield strength gives you regen applied to each facing. Regen and then a regen over time to each facing, and then resistance to each facing for 15. Resistance for 15 seconds, and it can be applied to other people. And Nikodas and I kind of like looked at it, and what was it? The other ability we compared it to that we usually
Science
take?
team.
Science team.
Science team.
Yeah, it kind of ended up being like 6 of one, half dozen of the other, between this one and science team, but they're comparable. But transfer shield strength can also be applied to other people. So when you're in those annoying TFOs, like the Borg version of Defensive Starbase 1, those spheres start barreling out and self-destructing, and you really need to keep those ships from blowing up. Then having the ability to bolster other people is helpful.
So, the major difference between the two is, see, I use science team on almost every ship build that I put together because it's a very large shield heal. You push the button, your shields get better. The difference between the two is this one does a much smaller initial boost and then has a heal over time effect. The amount healed all told is roughly the same, with science team maybe coming out a little ahead. But it's like she said, it's 6 to 1, half a dozen to another. Take your pick.
And then, of course, in that last solitary ensign universal station, we've got the emergency powered engines for your emergency con officer.
Yep, got to have your speed boost, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll tell you, setting up the traits for this was a chore, and we were even changing traits today to try and make
Right up to
this
the
work.
last minute, really.
Yeah, so it took some doing to come up with the number of traits that work. I will start with personal traits because those are the easiest. Primarily, all of these are free. Um, a lot of them being just completely innate. So we've got accurate plus 10 accuracy, that's innate. Beam barrage, 2% to all beam damage, stacks up to 3 times. This comes from the R&D school for beams. You got to get it to 15. Fleet coordinator, bonus to all damage per team member. It's 2% per team member, which is why it says 6 right now. That's an innate one. Give your all is from R&D engineering school. This basically just reduces all damage by 20%. Innocuous is innate. You get minus threat and plus crit severity. Operative gives you crit chance and crit severity. That one's innate. Point blank shot. Now this is the one that you have to go out and get. So you get bonus energy weapon damage based on your distance to target. Being closer gets you more. This is a reward from, let me make sure I get this right, from the House Peg mission in the Iconian War arc. It's actually a very good trait. It ranks very high on most high-end builds, and again, it's free. Beam training. This is an innate one. You can get the superior version from K13. The Boimler effect. Now, we have talked about this to death, I feel like. This is a lockbox trait. It is the only one that we regularly use on all of our budget builds and all of our non-budget builds. This is just a fantastic trait. You're going to spend for it, but it's worth saving up to get, even on a budget build. And the last one is Thrill Seeker. This just increases your flight speed and your full impulse speed. I really wasn't sure what else to put in this spot without spending money on it, which we were trying to avoid. Let me get on tongue tied here. Yeah, we can do that. Grebog, you want to start notes on that? That's a good idea. And then if you have an 11th spot, like you're an alien and you have that extra spot, you can pretty much put anything you want in there. Again, doing the budget build means that we're kind of limited. If you want to go outside of that, there are a lot of really good traits out there. A good day to die, adaptive offense, duelist fervor, into the breach. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of them. Just got to find what you want to build with, and they're all lockbox traits. They cost quite a bit to get them. But if you can save up for them, or spend real money to trade in for them, by all means go for it.
But Boimler's like because it's a lobby thing, but like with the way they throw lobby at us, like it's not outside the it's not unattainable really.
That's true. Very true. For reputation, all these just come from raising your reputation skill trees. We went with advanced targeting systems for the crit severity, energy refrequencer for healing, um, magnified firepower for bonus weapon damage, and that's all weapon damage, precision for crit chance, and Tyler's duality, which is crit chance based on hull capacity. And then the starship traits, and this is where things got really, really interesting. So we elected to go with Calm Before the Storm. This comes off the Cardassian Gemor Intel Flight Deck Carrier. It's a Zen Store purchase. The Emergency Weapons Cycle, which is one of the best traits in the game, comes off the Arbiter Battlecruiser, the Kurak Battlecruiser, the Morrigue Heavy Warbird, the Legendary Avenger, and the Legendary Valdor. So if you have any of those, this is well worth slotting on almost any directed energy weapon build. Energy Overdrive. Energy Overdrive. See, there I go again. Energy Overdrive is specific to beam firing modes. So when you activate a beam firing mode, it gives you 100% flight speed, 100% turn rate, and 10 to 50% to all damage. And that's based on, I believe, distance. Let me make sure I do that right here. Proximity to target. Yes. So again, the closer you are to the target, the more damage boost you're going to get. I was right. Yay. Next up is History Will Remember. This comes off the support cruisers. Improved critical systems comes from the Temporal Agent. The non-improved version also comes from Temporal Agent. Again, if you have it, slot it. We do have one lockbox one that we grabbed, the programmable matter enhancements. This is an interesting, well, they're all interesting. I keep saying that, don't I? This is a fun one. So the base thing here is anytime you activate a non-specialty bridge officer ability, if it's a science ability, it cleans a debuff off of you. If it's a tactical ability, you get a 15% boost to all damage for 20 seconds. If it's an engineering ability, you gain temporary hull hit points. So it kind of covers a lot of bases. It increases survivability, it increases your damage. You don't see it on a whole lot of builds, but we decided to give it a try on this one. And then the last one that I grabbed here is Super Weapon Ingenuity. This increases the duration of beam overload by 5 seconds, and that comes off a Lobi ship, the Zindi Primate Ataleth Dreadnought Cruiser. So that one's kind of expensive, but if you're going to run beam overload, it's worth having. It is the only trait in the entire game that directly boosts the duration of beam overload. Okay, so again, we do have some alternatives. there are a bunch of really great traits out there. For our budget build, we try to go on the cheap side. We try to avoid things like legendary ships or lockbox ships, but there are a lot of really good traits out there. Some you can look at: cultural conquest comes off the World Razor, strike from the shadows comes off the Shran, unconventional tactics comes off the strategist. So yeah, I couldn't find that. I would have slotted that today, Grebog. Katis here has strategist maxed, and I assigned it as his secondary, but it's not in my list. So if you have um, if you have unconventional tactics, you can use it. I don't know why it's not on my list. It should be. And then ship of the line, which comes off the legendary Avenger.
Which is interesting because strategist, if you go to that tab in the specialization, go to the bar at the bottom and all the way on the right and mouse over that dot, it listed.
Yeah, unconventional tactics. I don't know. I don't know why it's not on my list. I might actually have to submit a bug report for that, but that's why I'm not using that one, because I couldn't find it. So real quick, couple more things, and then we'll go blow some stuff up. Duty officers. Go to the right tab here, active space. You're going to want your crit chance and crit severity guys. Again, those are standard on any damage, like DPS build, beam overload. If you're doing energy, you want the ones that do energy. If you're doing torpedoes, you want the guys that do torpedoes. But either way, you want something that does crit severity and crit chance. For the extras, we got the emergency con hologram. We've got Agent Nerul, which again I couldn't find, which is why I'm not using. Basically, anytime you use attack pattern beta, it makes a portion of your outgoing damage come back to you as healing. I found one that was similar. I've got Dayoga here, which is when you activate a tactical ability, damage is applied as healing. So I went with something similar. And then, whichever things you have that you want to use beyond that is kind of flavor. I went with Disla, recharge time reduced for tactical team, since we're running tactical team, and the Exocomp, which anytime you activate a battery, the Exocomp will give you a boost, and I'm using the red matter capacitor, which the game treats as a battery. So just an extra little boost on top of the boost you already get for that one. What else do I? Oh, specializations. We talked about strategist. We went intel as our primary, strategist as our secondary. Power levels. I went back and forth on the power levels quite a bit. Obviously, it's a weapons build, so you want weapons at 100. After that, the other three you can kind of flavor however you want. I initially had the build set up that shields and ox were at 15 and engines were at 70 to get more turn rate. I may end up going back to that, but after seeing some of the stuff we're using, I flipped it a little bit. I put ox at 55, engines at 30, so I still get a little boost from the engines, but I get more like crit severity and whatnot from some of the consoles and traits we're using because they're based on auxiliary power. So take that as you will. That's the build in a nutshell. We will post this build with the video when it gets moved to YouTube, so you can grab it anytime you need if you're looking for a budget-friendly beam overload build. And that's it, guys. We're going to go blow some stuff up now. You want me to just queue us for a rando, guys?
Yes, indeed.
Sure.
Shall I risk doing a rando and just hope we get a space one?
Yeah.
Or is there one in particular you guys want to run? We could just queue up for my favorite.
What's your favorite? I'm trying to remember now.
Eopater Erratus. I just found it. I like doing that one.
Oh, now that we're done explaining, I can go back to the main screen. I'll try to be better about that next time.
That's all right. The important thing is to get the information out there, which we did.
It's also why I share the link to the the build.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
You must keep going.
I forgot the red alerts were live. I need to do my red alert. Do you guys need to do that?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Wee woo.
Wee woo. Part of me wants to switch to my alternative build. But I won't.
Actually, I have a thought on that.
Yes.
Why don't you find us another ship to do that build on? And here in a couple weeks, we can repeat it, but use your build. Honestly, I would like to see it in action, so...
Well, that's why I debated switching to it tonight after we show off this build. So that way, you know, you can see it without having to... yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Here. Oh, come on. Everyone wants more haste. I'm giving everyone haste.
Well,
Take my haste.
Sound when we were talking about it was really interesting. Wow.
No, I hit my fleet power network.
Tabby, was that you helping me blow that up?
Yeah.
Like, it died really fast. I mean, I realize this is on normal, but still. Kaboom. Ooh.
Kaboom.
Oh, I thought I was too close. I was not.
Maybe you were.
Maybe I'm actually dead and I just don't realize it. You know, this ship is not terrible. I prefer the Odyssey.
So weird.
I still prefer the look of the Odyssey. The way they did the secondary hull of this ship looks a little weird.
It really is.
Almost like a little bit of a snub nose. It's not a terrible thing, though.
Well, and there's this weird gap between the saucer.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fine. I don't understand why they would do that design wise. But that's just me. Like, I can even see through. Like, that just says if you're ever flying a little shuttle thing to try to the bridge that gap, shoot the gap. Wee woo.
You know,
shoot
another
the gap.
Another TFO that I wish would get a little bit more love is the Crystalline Catastrophe. I have not ran that for a very long time, but I wish it would come up more often.
The Terrans will be here and wait.
All right, so are we going to do traits next week? We want to talk about traits that people should pick.
Well, yeah, since we were talking about, like this one's explicit, that maybe we should get, I just had the thought, maybe we should create a list of traits that people should not immediately pick up, but like these are good traits to save up for and buy, things that will help them in the long run. Because there's a lot of personal traits that are lockbox traits that people recommend, and I,
We're just here for your
yeah.
data. Hand it over and nobody will get hurt.
Okay.
All ships, engage the Terran fleet.
I am perfectly okay with that. Tabby, any thoughts?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, and then in 2 weeks we'll do the alternative build
Defiant,
for
take
Grebog.
some ships and take her down. The rest of you, stay alert. This isn't
I'll have to either find another ship that works with this type of build, or well, works with that type of build, or just do this ship again.
Bend the hollow projectors as best you can.
Is anybody out at the
We
middle?
got hostiles on the station. They're breaching our systems.
I don't know. I'm shutting down Gamma.
Okay, I'm at Beta. Nobody is out at the middle. Okay, I'm gonna head back to the middle.
Those rifts aren't going to close themselves.
There's a bunch of enemy ships out here. Alright, so I'll just hover around the station then.
We've got hostiles on the station. They're breaching
No,
our
we
systems.
don't. Quit panicking. Don't you just love how panicked they get?
I know. It's almost adorable, except that it's not.
Portals aren't going to close themselves. It's like we're working on it.
Those rifts aren't going to close themselves.
Speak of the devil. They're breaching our systems. Maybe you should have better security. I'm sorry, that was mean. We know Data's still around. Have him come over here and upgrade your systems. It'll be fine. You guys are being awfully quiet over there.
I'm sorry. I'll
need
do
to clear
better.
out the ships at Jupiter Station.
Look at me. I'm blowing stuff. Oh wait, no, nothing's alive over here anymore.
I'm blowing stuff up. Tabby's sending them over to me, and well, they
Need to
die.
Get those rifts under control.
I just heard a medical holograms do state the nature of the emergency. I don't know what that came from. Please state the nature of the emergency.
Our friends are losing Alpha. I think I might go help clean them out real quick. Can you guys kind of keep an eye on the middle for a minute?
They're breaching our systems.
Sure. Well, technically, there's Teelan here in the middle that doing not much. I think the last portals are here at Alpha.
Those rifts under control.
I'm
Oh, no.
working on them.
Here, have some more fire, more haste. I just sent some out.
I appreciate that. Okay, we got another one here.
Need to clear out the ships at Jupiter Station.
Yeah, I'll get back to Jupiter once this closes. I get out of range too soon. I hate that.
Projector Alpha is back under our control.
We got somebody breaching over here. I got him. Tabby, Alpha, or Beta has a portal open.
Well, shit.
I'll get Alpha if you want to go grab Beta. Never mind, they actually closed it themselves. I'm so proud. They grow up so fast.
We've locked down the projectors.
There we
Now
go.
they're ours for good.
You still here, Grandma?
All right, Lita.
I thought our Janeway was annoying. Speaking of annoying, Did you like the little back door I put in your station?
Watch out for that feedback pulse. Like, I'm dying. Yep, they got me. That is the one issue with doing beam overload against these guys. That's a lot of damage to have to mitigate all at once.
You kids have fun now. Don't even try to catch me.
All right.
The Enterprise is going for Projector Alpha.
That hurt.
The shield vessels are negating your attacks on the Enterprise. Take them out first.
Don't even try to catch me.
Oh, we got this. Okay. One more and we should be done.
The Enterprise is near Projector Gamma.
You kids have fun now.
She ran. Where's she gonna show up, guys?
The Enterprise is going for Projector Alpha.
That way.
All right, here we go. They're down. Take her out.
You know what? I'm done.
Well done. We sent the Terrans home
Good
with
job.
a message. If
I
you
see
accept
someone's
the message,
unconscious.
be prepared
Yep,
for the consequences.
I died again.
Hopefully their Emperor will listen.
Apparently, I just hit them too hard when their feedback pulse is up because I went down really fast that second time.
Feedback pulse is no joke.
It is
Unless it's a
not.
player version. Then it is a joke.
Ah,
It seems like they keep giving it to more and more enemies. Like it started off with just the Borg Queen, and then the Terrans got it, and then.
Hey, your projectile launcher's damaged.
I know. I'm gonna go fix it. I'm going.
I'm
to the
just
shipyard
amused.
real
I'm like,
quick.
because you have so many torpedo launchers on that ship.
I know, right? All right, so next week we're going to be talking about some traits. We might even do like a tier list. Probably not that detailed, but maybe. And the week after that, we'll be doing another ship build. As always, I will see you out there.
have fun, be safe, and don't set yourselves on fire.
Live long and prosper. And I was gonna say, stick around. We'll raid somebody. Stick around. We'll chit chat a little after. Computer, end program.